And I believe we should be all good to go. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Rio Gamer 88 morning podcast. I am, of course, Rio Gamer 88. By all means, feel free to leave a comment down below, and of course, I will answer as soon as possible. But of course, if you are enjoying this podcast, why not leave a like? Or if you want to share the podcast, why not even share? Why not even share the podcast in itself? And of course, if you are new to the channel, then by all means, leave a follow. And of course, you'll be notified when we go live. And of course, for when we have a video uploaded. Now, the channel's going through a slight change in regards to presets and sound effects. So, for example, the Heart Me theme at the moment has got a bit of a Mickey Mouse voice sound effects going for it. So of course, bear that in mind. That of course, pardon in advance that if you hear any of Disney's sound effects, it's all because it's in all due to set up for Kingdom Hearts for tomorrow night's live stream. So of course, the topic of it all, of a McDrive accident, and by all means, it was a minor accident. That occurred during when me and my wife went to go to McDonalds to pick up lunch yesterday, and it was an unfortunate accident that then escalated into something that didn't really need to happen. And I say this quite responsibly. How I say this, it's a bit completely daft, and a portion of it, Kevin and Karen on them scales. And of course, what happened was that as me and my wife, we went straight through the drive-through, and we got to paying for food, and then of course that we got to sort of waiting for a couple of minutes for our food, and then of course the lady at the drive-through said, it wasn't a lady, it was a man, beg my pardon. It was the man that said to us, would you mind waiting to park over in the bays, and we'll go and get your food for you. Of course, not a problem. Now, as of course the parking, you've got to think, is like the drive-through is on a straight road. There's nothing that you could do on the left-hand side. And so, of course, you can only do a right turn. Now, the parking itself, some McDonald's have like the most tiniest of car parking spaces. So, of course, it's like microscopic. So if you drive in like a medium-sized sedan car, on a state wagon or SUV, you know you're asking for a bit of trouble if people park silly. And so, of course, as we started to drive into the designated parking space, there was a young girl, probably about 18, 19, driving in one of them small Fiat 500 cars. And she tried parking in one of the bays and immediately stopped at this corner. There was nowhere I could reverse back because there was a car behind us. And she was doing a 3-point turn, and so of course she drives into one of the parking bays and starts to reverse out. Now bear in mind, she didn't have any reversing sensors. Considering that it's a 2022 car, you would have thought a lot of cars would have actually reversing sensors at least. And so as she's reversing out towards me, I can see her getting closer. And I thought she was about to stop, but no. She actually had reversed right into me and actually hit my car. And of course, I know she hit the car because she made the front end of the car like pressured downwards. So I smacked the traction horn and told her to stop before she tried forcing way through, because I thought she was going to sort of, I wouldn't call it hit and run, where you slightly bump the car and then, of course, speeding off through. So, of course, I thought, let me now stop where you are. Wanted to see how much damage she's done. And, of course, and immediately she had attitude on her. And so I said to her, can I take your car, your details and tell me your insurance provider? Because I want to be able to find out, I want to be able to make a claim out of it. And all right, she hardly said much. And of course, Apple Juice Bombers, thank you so much for the follow. I really do appreciate it. Do you know what? I forgot to turn on the sound effects on that. That's really bad on this. My mum had that happen to her with a delivery driver from Tesco. Ah, Boggy. Oh, it's terrible, mate. It's absolutely terrible. So, of course, as she's given me her contact details, obviously, I've given her mine as well in advance. And, of course, she then said to me, well, where's the damage? So, of course, I showed her what was a very faint white scratch over on the front bumper of the car, but also noticed later there's a chip into the black grille of my car. So as of course I said to her, look, that's where you've done the damage. She went, oh, you can easily wipe that off. I went, but you need to give me your insurance details so that I know so that my insurance provider can of course get in contact with yours. And she's like, no, you can just wipe it off. I went, no, excuse me, don't give me no attitude. And of course, it drafted into, morning, Grom, how you doing? And of course, that Boggy, that's really sweet of you. Fair play. And so, of course, when it came to, she started giving a bit of attitude. She said, look, don't give me attitude. I'm only here because, of course, needing details. And so, of course, McDonald's manager gets involved and says, look, can you please park your cars in the parking bay because it's causing a queue stir up in the drive-thru. I thought, okay, that's fine. We've done that. So, of course, it was then on forward, the McDonald's manager had to be the referee. And then, of course, she's like, the young girl then said, like, I'm sorry, but she's like, but you don't need anything else. You can just get that all repaired. I said, it's not as simple as that, because I said to her, but if I want to make a claim out of it, there's no way I'm just forking out for the hell of it. I'm going to do anything possible. And then, of course, she starts walking away and gets into a car. And some random person, and I kid you not, this random person, and he was a single dad with 2 kids in the back of his car, all of a sudden gets out and says, mate, you're a dickhead. I went, excuse me? So you're a dickhead? And I went, wow, how am I a dickhead? Because the way you're talking to her. How am I being talking to her when I specifically said being Paul, of giving all the facts and just stating things as they are, whilst I'm being calm at the same time? How does that make me a dickhead? And he went, you're lucky, he then says to me. I said, no, don't go any further, mate, because this has got nothing to do with you. So I suggest you get back in your car, enjoy your meal with your kids, and of course, leave this alone. And of course, he then did like that. He said, try finishing off the sentence again. And he goes, well, you're lucky because I've got my kids with me. Otherwise, I would have killed you. I went, oh, really now? Really? So you want to kill me then, do you? And then, of course, it was like, yeah, I would if they weren't around. I thought, well, mate, why don't you do a better job of making the worst of the situation where it's got nothing to do with you and just sit back and be quiet. Just sit back down and be quiet. Got nothing to do with you. So, of course, he's like, you what? And like giving all the gruff of like being, oh, you what? And of course, the manager then had to sort of intervene and said, look, stop it. This ain't got anything to do with you. Just sit back down in your car and leave it with me. So, of course, young girl then drives off by giving off a few last words. She said, oh, there's no way you could have reversed. Sorry, no way I could have reversed back in the drive-thru because there was a car behind me. And she's like, well, you could have, because I went, no, I couldn't. There was a car that was literally right on my arse that I could not physically reverse back through. That's impossible. I said, if anything, you had such amount of space. You're a silly little Fiat car who could have done easily a reverse and stop. Like, even if it weren't 3-point turn, she could have easily done a couple more turns and then, of course, driven off forward. And I just couldn't believe the absolute... I couldn't understand where she was coming from with all of it, trying to picture out that it wasn't her fault when clearly she was the one that hit me. I couldn't do any more reversing back or anything. Where does this stand? And of course, so she's gone and huff and puffed. And I think she must have had her boyfriend in the passenger car because he did nothing. He just sat back and just looked. Like, as to say, what's going on? Now, I would have thought he would have got out of the car and not the other guy that got out of his car and started giving it the mouth and saying, oh, you're a dickhead, you're such a dick. I thought, really? Okay. And of course, it was funny because at the time when the young girl drives off, this woman, I think she was Ukrainian, she walks up to me and she says, I absolutely agree with you. I can't do accents, but she said to me, I absolutely agree with you. It is not your fault, but please be careful if you make a claim because I worry that your insurance for your Jaguar is going to be very high. I said, don't worry. I know what I'm doing. It'll be fine, but I appreciate you backing me up. So at least even my wife who sat me in the car, a random Ukrainian Uber Eats delivery person knows that I wasn't in the wrong, and so did the restaurant manager. And of course, as we managed to get our food, after all of that, we got back in the car, just me, and of course, as my wife is still sitting, beg my pardon, and of course, said to the manager before driving off, I said, I'm ever so sorry for any disruption caused, but I was just trying to get the information out of anything. And of course, the manager had said, that's perfectly fine. By all means, if it does escalate anything further, by all means, feel free to contact us and we'll be more than happy to, get the CCTV evidence, which is perfectly fine. And then, of course, the next thing that happens is that as we get in the car, the man that got out and got involved where it had nothing to do with him whatsoever is literally eagle-eyeing on me, staring, like giving this weird Gruffalo look of, like, literally, it was really weird the way he was trying to give like this weird standoff look. Literally, as I'm reversing out to get onto the main road, lowered my window down and went, have you got anything to say? Because literally he was just staring out. And I just said to him, have you got anything to say? Didn't say anything in response. I went, no, didn't think so. Have a wonderful day. And as I started driving, I went, that's it. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. I thought, wow, that was megaton male Karen alert. Literally, he got out of the car, starts walking like as if he's like a mechanoid from the Power Rangers. As I've driven off, he's standing in the middle of the road. And I just thought, what did that escalate to? That madness. Obviously, it's that kind of reaction that it just makes no sense. Some people just give it, the old, big man, where they're really just little people, little Lego people, in all fairness. And of course, as I've driven back round, you can see he's sitting back in the car. I think in all fairness, I just think he was a pervert. And I say he was a pervert because clearly single dad, 2 kids in a car. And of course, he sees a young girl, about 17, 19 years old. And of course, he's giving her a gruff because he's probably trying to get... I'm not going to say the words on TikTok in case I get verbally banned or anything, but obviously he's thinking with his male bits to obviously try to impress the woman who hit me. So of course it just made absolutely no sense whatsoever for his actions or to get any involved. So that was a typical male Karen thing. And of course, I was driving back through about 5 minutes away from my house, and of course I said to my wife, and I went, it definitely wasn't my fault, was it? She went, no, she hit you. If anything, she hit you. And of course, as we've come in the house, I explained to my mum the whole situation, and listening through, and of course, father comes in through, and he goes, what's happening now? I thought, oh, okay. And just explain what happened. And I think I think he panicked or worried. I don't know what he was thinking through, but so I showed him through what had happened, explained to him the whole situation, exactly what happened, and of course he's like, "No, nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. It's inconvenient, but it's nothing to worry about." I thought, "Oh crikey, that was the end of that," and that was probably the quickest of all situations that ever happened. Because whenever I tell that I've had an accident and clearly it's not my fault, and I try to explain to my parents of what's happened, I think they're very quick to worry. Bless them kind socks, because only because they care. But I always get this impression of how it comes about, like thinking that, oh, somehow I'm the bad person. The way I'm like, and then I just felt, well, hold on, how is it all my fault? When really it'd be nice if you backed me up and support me, which of course they did on this occasion. And I just like I think they just overworry and care. They don't want me to get through. But how on earth am I meant to sort of keep the situation calm? As I did, but of course you get unwanted prerogatives of people that that try to get involved and start a fight for nothing. And I'm very capable of dealing with that on my own, if anything. So it's just kind of like the worst of the situations. So, and so I put it to you, me old gaming darlings, has anybody had been involved in an incident where it's not your fault, but there's always somebody trying to stir the problem where it's got nothing to do with them? Or if you've had any similar experiences, leave your comment down below, because I'm quite interested, of course, because it's annoying when you're trying to get hold of the situation into your control and keeping it as calm as anything, and of course you keep it on with your control, and of course there's always one person, always that one person who are trying to get involved, and it's got nothing to do with them. It is absolutely annoying, because then they're just trying to be problem causers and it's got nothing to do with them. It really is absolutely got nothing to do with them, and you kind of feel like, if I had everything my own way, then of course it'd be a little bit more graphical in detail, but that's just not me. But I think I did win the situation because I kept my cool. Obviously, the situation was a bit shook up, don't get me wrong. Any person who deals with a situation and keeps it cool and controlled would still feel a little bit shook up. But of course, well, and then eventually it all calmed down. Luckily, I still had a hot meal from the McDonald's and it wasn't cold. Thank goodness for that. But of course, speaking of McDonald's, if anybody has used the McDonald's cards, I believe it is tomorrow's the 11th. So tomorrow, if you've got any of the winning free gift cards from McDonald's, tomorrow is the last one. I've still got quite a few spares on them, but of course, I don't want to lose them. Because I love the whole retro characters of the McDonald's, and I think it's a really nice touch, especially where it's not corporate approach or anything. It's like a nice retro flashback seeing some of these cards. I think I've got quite a few of Birdie, one of Grimace, one of the Hamburglar. I think who else did I? I think the McBuddies. The McBuddies I got, and the McBuddies. If you don't know who the McBuddies are, they're like the mini chicken nugget characters. I got one of them, and then of course there was probably a few characters I wouldn't mind adding to the collection, and I think I was hoping to see if they had Mac McCheese, what else? The Big Mac Police, and who else? Ronald McDonald. But Ronald McDonald was exclusively the top prize pin. If you managed to get a Ronald McDonald card, which was all gold tinted, not actual gold, but just like a gold layer, it was an automatic win for £10,000. If anybody had that one of them, lucky day. Lucky day to you all. By all means. But guys, feel free to ask me a quick question in the comments section below, and I'll wait for your response. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes. Write any questions you like. And of course, I'll stick around for answering a question for you all. And if you are enjoying this live stream, by all means, leave a follow. It'd be most appreciated for the support. And I appreciate you all for sticking around and joining in on the conversation. It'd be absolutely awesome. So thank you all in advance on that. Question time for RG88. Self-music improvising, I know. I just realised that the whole portrait is completely mirrored. I don't think I could change that whilst live, can I? I should be able to. No, that's the frame. We're talking about the camera. There we go, perfect. Because obviously the monitor is over here, but on the on the screen itself it was pointing that way. And that's the sort of stuff that throws me off, is that if the mirror effect, and it's like, hold on, I'm not looking that way, I'm looking that way. Anybody not got a question or anything, by all means, it can be related to the topic, or it can be anything. I'll give you another minute, as otherwise I will shut off. Oh, signing on there. Come on now, don't be shy. Don't be shy, me old lovelies. See all these people that are quickly joining in, and of course then you see them go off. It's like before you actually see their name pop up and then they quickly go away. It's like flies. They're in one area and then quickly they go to another. Ah, dear, dear. So right then, me old gaming darlings, before I sign off through, I will be confirming that there is no live stream tonight. As because I am getting myself ready for tomorrow night's live stream for Kingdom Hearts 1.5. And so, of course, I'll leave it all on this note that I hope you all enjoy the rest of this weekend. And of course, I thank you all in advance for listening out to my story. It's been a pleasure. And of course, thank you to our latest follower, Apple Juice Bombers, and for Boggy and Gromsalvi for the comments. So guys, thank you very much, especially for those who have liked the live stream. And of course, on that note, take care of yourselves and each other. Love to you all, and have a wonderful rest of the weekend.